Let's move on now to the Minnesota Vikings in our 2023 NFL Draft review. But before we get into that, if you have not already, hit that subscribe button and also ring that bell to get notified when we create new content. Ryan and I, we have a goal of trying to get to 2,000 subscribers by the start of the NFL season. We're sitting at around 1,270 right now, so it's the easiest way to help us reach our goal, and also easiest way for you to see new Vikings content, NFL content, training camp content, etc., all throughout the NFL. So, Ryan, with that being said, let's move into this class.
Let's do it.
The Minnesota Vikings, this is a very just from the outset, I like the Jordan Addison pick. There's a lot of different ways that it could have gone here. I think that he complements Justin Jefferson well, and I think that they could be a great receiving tandem for the long haul, whoever their future quarterback is after Kirk Cousins, everything like that. Mm-hmm. However, when you look at this class in a whole, it was a very whelmed draft, I would say.
Yeah. I personally am not a big fan of this class. I would have liked to see them go a different route on the first pick. I'm a huge fan of Jordan Addison. I really like the pick. I think you pair him up with Justin Jefferson, and that is a really terrific duo. Then you throw in TJ Hawkinson into the mix, and I think that's a good trio to have as well. But they needed so much on the defensive side of the ball, and specifically corner. And you had guys like Deonte Banks there at 23. And I would have liked to see them go that way. Joey Porter Jr., Deonte Banks. And then instead you get Mekhi Blackman and Jay Ward in the 3rd and 4th round. And I don't know if that's going to be enough to really fix some of the issues that they were having.
Well, it's to be fair, I mean, and they drafted well down in Miami when Flores was the coach, so then they got a lot of young talent. But Flores in the beginning was able to do a decent bit with not a lot on that defensive side of the ball.
They had Xavier Howard down there who was able to shut down most wide receivers.
That is fair. And the Vikings don't have Xavier Howard. No, that's my observation. So that is a good point, sir. And when you have a lockdown corner like that, it does help out a lot. And off the top of my head, I mean, they did get Andrew Booth Jr. last year.
That's what I was going to say. Is the one thing that is going against me is they got Andrew Booth Jr. last year, but he was not a real contributor. I think mostly due to injury. He wasn't really able to get on the field that much. So I do agree. But still, guys like Brian Branch were on the board as well, who I think would have paid tremendous dividends in this defense.
Yeah. It is risky. Let's just put it that way. You know, and so just going along like that route, I can understand why they went Addison, but if they went Deonte Banks, I also would have gotten that as well. And another thing as well is just in general, I mean, they did get Christian Darrisaw in 2021, who I think has been doing a good job. But in general, though, we saw their biggest weakness was, as teams figured out in the second half of the season, really actually just after the Cowboys game, is their offensive line. Like, you can get after them. And then if you get after them and you get into Kirk Cousins' face, that offense shuts down.
Yeah.
And they did not address that in this draft. And they did sign Garrett Bradbury, center, to a 3-year deal.
Garrett Bradbury, I think.
I'm sorry. And then they re-signed a couple other offensive linemen. But in general, though, they didn't do anything else out on the exterior. So well, to see, maybe they can make some trades or maybe on who they get in the undrafted free agent market and just try and see. But I think that would have been something that I would have liked for them to take in this class as well.
Yeah. Specifically, I think that right guard spot really needed to be addressed because Ed Ingram gave up more. I think it was more pressures and sacks than any other offensive lineman in the NFL last season. And so I just think that interior was definitely something that needed to be upgraded. I know they did sign Garrett Bradbury, but
I will say to their defense, though, and they kind of got screwed because a lot of the value, I guess, where, like, if you're just looking back on like the draft value and everything, they did go Mekhi Blackman, and so maybe they didn't know then at the start of day 3. They obviously didn't know. They can't see into the future. Then there was just that run of the rest of the offensive linemen.
Yeah.
And that's where those guys would have been. I think guys that they could have gotten, like DeJuan Jones, I think would have been, I think, good on this team. He definitely would have been more of a tackle. But if we go here to see who else was taken in the 4th round,
City Sal and Jake Andrews were taken by the Patriots. I know that.
Yeah,
And then as well,
Anthony Bradford from LSU was also there. And so Braden Daniels from Utah. So it's like if you're wanting to go along that interior line, John Gaines, UCLA. I mean, there was a lot of interior offensive linemen before the Vikings pick in the 4th round, which was the second to last pick. And it was
Chandler Zavala went as well. So
yeah, that would have been a good one to go right at that 102 spot. And so it's like hindsight 2020, with being picky here. And so one of the things, and this also kind of factored in my grade because there's the Ravens had a very similar draft. When you only have 6 picks, and then when they're so far apart, it is tough to go about. And I think there's even I'm just seeing an error here. Round 5, it wasn't. Was it really 7 picks apart? Did they pick again in the beginning of the 5th round?
Yeah.
Oh, my apologies. Okay, and so even then they went 90 picks, then on the 30, and then they had a couple picks right back to back, and by then all of those like middle tier offensive linemen were gone by 134. So I guess maybe a little bit better management with the picks, but at the same time though, it's like you did get Jordan Addison to help out,
and they did. So then I do like some of their other picks. So I like Jay Ward and Mekhi Blackman. I think those are like good developmental secondary pieces that Brian Flores can work with. And then Jacqueline Roy, the defensive tackle from LSU. He's a really big dude. I think he's going to fit really well into that system and kind of let these edge rushers really get after it. And then the last two, Jaron Hall and Dwayne McBride. Jaron Hall was one of probably my second favorite behind DTR in terms of the developmental quarterbacks. And then Dwayne McBride from UAB, a huge guy. And I think he'll be a really nice compliment to Dalvin Cook as well. So I do like the players that they got. I just wish that they might have gone in a slightly different direction with some of their picks.
That's my thing too. Then when it as we transition to grade, it's like I see it's just tough to give a grade to this class here because there's very few like day one immediate impact guys.
Yeah,
a lot of these guys are projects. Honestly, the guy that might contribute the most might be McBride, their 6th round pick, because he can compete with Anthony Madison for the backup job. Then if Cook gets hurt,
with the exception of Jordan Addison, I think Addison.
Oh, yes,
yeah.
Obviously. Sorry, I thought that could go without being said, but no. Just to clarify, Addison is clearly the best pick. He's going to contribute day one. Everyone else though, the later round picks, and so that's why it's kind of hard for me to judge. I didn't know what grade to give them. I gave them C+ because that's what I gave the Ravens, and I felt it almost was close to an identical pick or type of draft where it was like you took they took a receiver, one of the top receivers in this class in that range, and then didn't have a 2nd round pick. Next pick wasn't until like 60, 70 picks later. And then just kind of a mismatch of then like a pick every 40 picks and just trying to find some sort of value of some projects that maybe they can develop.
Yeah.
So,
but, and that's I gave them the C-. I actually have them with a higher grade than the Packers, even though they have like half the picks. Just because I do like the players that they picked. It's just you're only getting to throw 6 darts at the dartboard here, and outside of Jordan Addison, you're only bringing in like really rotational players, and that's just hard to do, especially for a team that I felt had a lot of holes. I know they won the division last year, but a lot of those wins that they had were in question. So, I do like some of the players. I just think I would have tried to go in a different direction, but I'm also not an NFL general manager, and that's probably for a reason. So
that's absolutely true. I mean, like I think we've done it and we've owned up to it enough to where it's like if we are wrong, like we will absolutely say like the Vikings come out and Mekhi Blackman is like CB1 halfway through the season, like of the entire NFL, be like great pick.
Yeah,
exactly. Like we were dead wrong.
Yeah,
If Jaron Hall, like if Cousin gets hurt and Jaron Hall, then all of a sudden is the next Brock Purdy. It's like, okay, that was a good pick. So it's just tough to tell in this class. And then with my grade, I tried to rank like 1 to 32, like what was the best team compared to then like the worst team. And I think there were a lot of teams that were able to find value, and that's kind of what this draft was, is a lot of value in their day 2, day 3 picks, guys that can come in and help contribute immediately. And with the Vikings, I just didn't get that vibe, but also at the same time, they had so few picks. So it was kind of tough. It was kind of tough to tell.
Yeah. And that's exactly how I felt. But let's go ahead. Let's wrap up the Vikings recap there. If you guys haven't already, please go ahead and like and subscribe and smash that bell to get notified when Tyler and I create new content. We are trying to hit 2,000 subscribers by the start of the 2023 NFL season. So go ahead and help out the channel. Leave a comment down below on what you thought of the Vikings draft. And other than that, we will see you guys next time.